All right, guys, it is Ted Bogert. We're back with the Ted Show, live with the one, the only, the real estate guru, the land guru. I've got so many nicknames for you. The Realtor That Jeeps, Misty Cabaniss. What's up, Misty?
Hi, Ted. How are you?
I'm good. I'm hoping technology stays our friend today. Thank you guys who watched the earlier show, and it wasn't about me; it was about her singing anyway. So I didn't mind, but woo, technology, which we just talked about before we went live, which was really cool. All right, so excited to talk to you. Excited for the rest of the world to get to know you. Tell us a little bit about your beginnings, where you're from, and a little bit about your journey.
Well, I'm a country girl here from the state of Florida, Mount Dora, Popka area, and been in and out of the state a little bit, but mainly in Central Florida, and did numerous things before I got into real estate, working for builders, working for equestrian people, things like that. Learned how to ride a horse before I learned how to walk.
No way, you really are a country girl.
I am, yes.
So what led you to the eventual thing? All right, I want to do my own business. Was it, had you seen the positive side of it, the upside of it? What was the impetus behind that change?
Well, actually, a good friend of mine gave me my first real estate book when I was 18 years old. And obviously I went to appraisal school. I didn't do that. And then when the market crashed in, 2006, 7, and 8, that time frame, I was working for a listing broker in Jacksonville, and went from one broker to the next because they started laying people off. I ended up with Lennar Homes. I worked for them for a couple of years, and then just with everything that started happening, and I just kind of got tired of being laid off. And, and one of the things too, just, having somebody else determine what my worth was. And so I kind of waited out till the market got a little bit better for a couple of years. And then I jumped into real estate, and I've been doing this now for almost 10 years. I can't believe it.
That's amazing. And especially since you kind of saw, you had touched a little bit on it, 2006, 2007, 2008, you saw it. And so to decide that you want to go ahead and make a career of it, that's a big move. So tell everybody that it was as glamorous as everyone thinks it is. You were making $1 million a month.
Oh, yeah.
Tell everybody a little bit about how you were able to, because you have to have some sort of sphere of influence, or you have to know how to create it. Mm-hmm. So what did you do to build your business in the beginning?
Actually, when I first got started, I did Realtor.com, a little bit of Zillow, but Realtor.com, and they were much more affordable then. I think I paid like $17 for a zip code, and that's kind of how I built my database and a little bit, and kind of got me started. And then I just moved over from that to, some of your traditional things in real estate, working off of that, your sphere of influence. And then a few years ago, I really just started connecting with my clients and referrals, and, been on a referral-based business for the last 2 or 3 years now, which that is really fascinating. That takes business to a different level for sure.
Well, it's definitely... First, I want to share something Shirley said, and then I'll comment. She said, love to listen to a strong, smart woman talk about their business. Shirley Stamper speaking, she knows because she is one. Let's talk about the connections, because you obviously took it to a new level, I think was a word you said, or that sort of, you had your connections, you had your clients, and then you really began to focus on them, which made your referral business so much more. Talk about that process. What did you do? Did you begin sending out, a card every week, popping by their houses when we could do that?
Right.
What did you do?
Actually, you know what? I did go old school. I sat down and I went to the dollar store and got a pack of thank you cards. And I sat down I'm like, you know what? They say, your your business is usually in your own backyard. And I looked at that in my database and started sending out thank you cards to my database. And within a few weeks, I had, a couple $300,000 to $400,000 listings. Past clients are like, oh my gosh, you reached out to me at the perfect time. Something's happened. We have to sell our house. And boy, if that wasn't just, the proof is in the pudding kind of thing on how you should be doing that. And I've just, rolled with that ever since. I do pop-bys and things like that too. But that was what really got me turned around on working on my own database.
I think that's so important. Moises, you're right. Old school works, just like Misty said. I think it's so important. I think people think that that group is already loyal to you, which they are, but you still have to be top of mind, and they miss out on the connections. And remember, each one of those connections has connections. Mm-hmm. And so if you continue to be top of mind, and I agree with you, I think part of everybody's marketing or relationship retention should be something old school. I love handwritten stuff. I love to get it. I wish I was better at it, but I love to get it. And I know the impact it makes. And yet you have people that want to do passive all the time. Mm-hmm. Okay, I've got it. All I'm going to do my whole life, everything's going to be about buying a lead. And there's no relationship in that. How have you handled COVID? What have you been doing to keep your business going during the lockdown?
Again, just reaching out to my database, taking on some new things. We in the real estate community, technology is really our friend. We've been operating from the space of Zoom and things like that for quite a while. And, in my career, I've sold multiple houses through FaceTime or something like that. But just now everybody in the world knows what Zoom's about. So I've reached out to my clients and people that I was wanting to bring my client testimonials on live, on video. And, it's just been reaching out, hey, you guys want to do a testimonial and just see how they're doing and things like that. It's kind of giving people something to do at the time, but just really just stick, again, just keeping in contact, whether it's just, I sent out little, what did I send out? I sent out little seeds for flowers, things like that. I sent out to people, or just calling them up and just, hey, how are you doing? So that's pretty much what I've been doing.
Checking in is so important. Because the checking in doesn't have to be about a sale.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be. It's supposed to be about the relationship. And I think a lot of times people get so worried, well, what is a seed going to do? I think a seed is brilliant. There's so many ways to go with that, but just top of mind. But all you're doing, you're giving them something. It's not a, hey, have you you want to list your house now? You're not in their face, but you're building an actual relationship that is built on true desire to want to have a relationship with someone, not just what have you done for me lately? Because I think that's what a lot of people make the mistake of. All right, we haven't talked about it, but you obviously are a big fan of branding. You are branded everywhere. So Realtor That Jeeps is branded on every possible social media platform you can find. So let's talk about how you came up with Realtor That Jeeps, and let's talk about branding.
Okay, so basically I was in need for a vehicle, and I'm like, you know what, this time instead of just buying something, I'm gonna look at something that I really want, and started looking at Jeeps, and then I went on Instagram and started seeing what everybody's doing with their Jeeps and how customized they are and everything, and was actually chatting with Bobby Davidowitz in her office about it, and and throwing around some marketing stuff. And that's how Realtor That Jeeps was born. Actually, I set this 8 months before I bought the Jeep. I was putting all this in play and buying my domains and everything. And then, and I set myself a real estate goal. And once I accomplished that, then I went and bought my Jeep, and I love it. It's the best thing I've ever done for myself and for branding. And I bought it and put a 2.5-inch lift on it and big tires, because there's that country girl. And it's so much fun. It's a great conversation piece, and people compliment it everywhere I go, and it's just fun. And that's a whole community of Jeeps.
Well, that's the thing too. You set yourself apart. That's what branding's about. Like, you have to be loyal to yourself, real, authentic. And that's exactly what you're doing. You loved the Jeep, you loved the Jeep community, you loved all of the stuff that you were seeing on social media, and you took that and made it your own. And that's what branding's about. So who are you going to think of if you think of a Jeep and real estate? I'm going to think of you. Why would I not think of you? But there's also a lot of things you can do with that. Jeeps could be a verb, which it kind of is, somebody who Jeeps around, somebody who's adventurous, somebody who will make sure that your listing gets sold, or you will find the house of your dreams. There's lots of things that you can do with that. What are you working on for post-COVID? What are your plans now that we're beginning to open up? We're seeing a little, people are feeling more comfortable being in person. What are you seeing on the real estate and business side?
Some people that were kind of on hold, whether they, had their hours cut back or just wanted to see. So I've got some listings that are getting ready to come up. And then I do a lot with new construction. So getting back out and able to visit my new construction communities and do some pop buys with them, and just being able to get back out into the community and socialize with people and promote. One of the things I was doing in the very beginning when we were on lockdown is just going to different places that were doing takeout, and, snapping a picture of the Jeep and giving them a tag and letting people know that they're doing, takeout, just more getting back into the community.
Well, that's the kind of stuff that I think is so important, because you're giving back to the community by tagging them. Regardless of how the tag is, you're giving something back. And that's why we did a lot of shows during, especially those first couple of really tense weeks of lockdown, where restaurants especially, were just had no idea what to do. But you're giving back. You weren't asking for anything. And I think that's so important in the branding that you do. It's very, I want to be I want to get to know you. It's not about the transaction. You're about the relationship, which I think is super, super important. Tell us what you think the market's like right now. What are you seeing in the market? How are you feeling about the market? Just give us your thoughts.
Well, that's an interesting topic. The market is actually really crazy right now. And for people that aren't in that space, you probably have a belief that it's not. But we slowed down a little bit for a few weeks, but it has been crazy busy. We're multiple offer situations. And actually during the COVID, for when we could get out, because, real estate kept going, and some clients that were able and willing to get out, I'm like, hey, here's our chance, because we don't have so much competition of people out there. But yeah, the market's strong for sure.
Love it. I feel like we are busy. And it's a good busy. It's not a pretend busy. Like, I've been through periods of that where there's a lot of looky-loos, we used to call them. But people are very serious about it. I think people are feeling a little bit better about the COVID part of things anyway. And I think that people are really examining, all right, I can buy and sell in this. My job, I think a lot of it was job related. People were so unsure of whether or not the furlough was going to continue, or were they going to get laid off, or were they going to make it through. And so I think people who were able to make it through that are being positive. What did you do, Misty? I ask every guest this. What did you do during COVID, just you personally, on a total personal level, to stay positive, to stay creative, to stay focused whenever this felt like the whole world was locked down?
I just kind of looked at what I could do with myself and my business and use this time wisely. And I did that. I do a lot of coaching, personal and business development. So embracing those outlets that I have. So just, it was really a chance for me I do a lot of personal development. So it was a chance for me to take in a lot of the things and put to action, things that I've learned over the past couple of years and really put to action. So.
Love it. All right. So what is the best way? We also had, before I say that, we had Tiffany popped on and said, awesome, I'm a realtor that Jeeps. Kudos, Misty. And I promise you, Misty will respond to all of the love on all the platforms when we get off. Tell people the best way to reach you. How do they, if they want to be coached, they want to learn more about Jeeps, they want to learn more about what to do in their community, they want to learn more about real estate, how do they reach you?
Well, it's interesting you did say coaching, because I did start coaching some people in real estate. I have a couple of people right now that I work with and interested in helping like 4 to 6 people a year to, see how, through real estate they can, change their life and have the life that they want. But you could reach me through either hashtag Realtor That Jeeps, or my Facebook page, Misty Cabaniss, Realtor That Jeeps with EXP, or you can, call me 407-883-3725, call, text. I'm out there everywhere. I'm not hard to find. I have a unique last name too.
Yes,
and it's Cabaniss, not cannabis.
Oh my God, I never thought about that. You must.
Oh, I get it every day.
It's so funny because I had a friend that the kids went to school with. I might have told you this when we first met, Heather Cabaniss, who spells it exactly the same way and lives here in Orlando.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Yeah, that never happened until about 4 or 5 years ago, when all the heightened awareness, came about. Never in my life did anybody say that, but yeah.
Well, you've been a joy. Thank you so much, Misty. We finally did it. You guys reach out to Misty Cabaniss. She's just as awesome in person, and she's always there to help and be a resource. Thanks, Misty, for coming on the show.
Awesome. Thanks, Ted. Have a great day.
All right. Y'all have a great one. We'll be back later on. Mwah. See you guys soon. Bye, everybody.